Nobody can save an addict. I learned that lesson the hard way. I walked out within 15 minutes. At the time, I thought everyone else was wrong. Looking back, I can see I wasn't ready to change. My father took me to my first GA meeting when I was in my early 20s. I was not a happy camper. I can still remember a large red Cadillac with the license plate Bet on it in the church parking lot and wondered whether I was in the right place. The room had tables arranged in a square and the usual cold grey metal folding chairs. A haze of cigarette smoke hung in the air, which was common then, even in church meeting halls. Everyone there was over 40, with all kinds of appearances and body types. There were no women present. The room smelled of cheap cologne and burnt coffee. I do recall that not one person came up to me to say hello and welcome. There were no directions on what to do next, so I just chose a chair and sat down. Dad was told that he was not allowed to be there. Dad gambled whenever he could, but apparently this was not event-worthy for him. It's funny that I did not think of that at the time. I've had past brushes with sexual abuse growing up, and these men looked me up and down as if I were fresh meat. I don't think I've ever been in a more uncomfortable setting in my life. I was scared and did not want to be there at all. I didn't even stay for the first 15 minutes. I got up and walked out for several reasons. First, there was the enormous age disparity. I immediately felt like there was anyone there, even close to my age, that I would be able to relate to. Secondly, there wasn't any organizational structure, such as beginning, middle, and end. I was a college student, and structure was a useful tool, even if I didn't always apply it as I was supposed to. Thirdly, I was mad as hell, and I couldn't even think beyond my anger to even listen. Dad, being the military bully that he was, began his usual litany of threats promising dire consequences if I didn't go back in. Nope, I was done with it, and would happily walk 3 miles back to my apartment. I knew that gambling had caused me to be broke, but I knew that I could fix myself. Nothing could have been more untrue. If you're repeating the same behavior with ever-worsening outcomes, such as not being able to pay rent, buy food, missing work, etc., then you have a serious problem. One that can no longer be ignored. You can't even get out of your own way to help yourself. And, if that's the case, no one else can either. This is what you should do if you're feeling like you're at the point of no return. First, you must admit that you no longer have control over your problem, even if you're not yet ready to call it an addiction. All you know is that your life has become unmanageable because of it. Going to your first meeting may be the hardest step. Pressure from others who mean well but aren't addicts does not help. Being forced to attend creates instant resentment and makes you more resistant. The only people who understand addicts are other addicts. Period. You've heard the familiar saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him or her drink. That's never truer in the case of addicts. I can't count how many times I've seen people forced against their will to go to their first meeting. It rarely sticks. I repeat, the first thing you need to do is go to a meeting. Do this on your own. Do not take your friend, family member, or companion pet. This is on you. This is your first step towards owning responsibility for your actions. Our egos are so out of proportion that the hardest thing to do is to admit that we have a problem. Nearly all addicts have reached rock bottom or come close to it before they seek help. I have reached that level several times through relapse. It was as if I was not deserving of recovery. Relapses felt like a relief during those terrible years. There was great shame at first, crawling back into recovery rooms after relapsing. Later, I didn't care what anyone thought because I'd done it so often. No one called me out, belittled me, or had me sit in the corner. I was always welcomed back no matter what. I've been to hundreds, if not thousands, of meetings. Things have changed a lot since I first started. These days, you are indeed welcomed with open arms, given a synopsis of what to expect, and assigned to a veteran addict who is purposely chosen to sit with you as a guide and moral support. The fear of the unknown is mostly alleviated, especially when they say you're free to walk out at any time and no one will try to stop you. You're no longer allowed to smoke inside, though. An addiction is a powerful thing. Addicts will often do anything to support their habit. Personally, I have lied, stolen, and borrowed money without shame to find my way back to a bar that had televised keno, poker machines, or pull-tab dispensers. There were no casinos within 200 miles. But gambling can be found anywhere if you look hard enough. Looking back, I never thought I would become that person. Yet addiction has a way of moving your boundaries 1 inch at a time until you wake up one day and realize you've become someone you barely recognize. It is the same with all addicts, no matter what addiction. Addiction does not care if you're a doctor, lawyer, movie star, millionaire, or a janitor. We've all fallen down the rabbit hole of no return, burned all our bridges made up of family, friends, and neighbors. Our ability to lie has become Oscar-worthy to get what we want. Eventually, the lying becomes too common and predictable, and then even the best lies are ignored. As far as work goes, you can only call in sick so often, have new family emergencies or flat tires before the pattern is clear to others and consequences follow. Addicts are hard to reason with, if at all. What really happens is that the words of others are tolerated and even agreed with to make them stop or go away. This is entirely passive-aggressive in nature and manipulative. Such behavior becomes yet one more useful tool in the box to get my way. Certainly, this is not normal behavior in any way. Nobody could save me because I wasn't ready. My father couldn't save me. The people who cared about me couldn't save me. Recovery began when I stopped trying to prove everyone else wrong and admitted I needed help.